Hopefully, everything is going well today. I want to encourage you to go back and look at my last live where I spoke to those of you who may be experiencing grief. I know this is a heavy topic for some people, not an option for others, but I just want you to know that you do have a support person here. For those of you who are new to my channel, thank you for chiming in. My name is Dee Sova. The page is called Trucking Divas Rock, and I really want to be able to reach those of you who are not only in the trucking community, but in other communities as well, who may be experiencing grief. Grief is a lot of things. You could be grieving for the loss of a spouse or significant other. You could be grieving for the loss of a child. You could be grieving for the loss of a friendship, a parent. It could be grief for the loss of a career or a job. Life changes, and you're trying to figure out, what do I do next? What I've learned in the last year has been very powerful for me. Like, my talking to you guys live right now has a lot to do with my healing process. When my husband passed away, I was devastated, y'all. And when I say I was devastated, that is no stretch of the imagination. I had a very good husband. He absolutely treated me like a queen every single day of almost 18 years of our relationship. And so when you have that in your life, and then suddenly that thing is, or that person is taken away from you, depending on your coping skills, is how you're going to be able to get out of that. And I will tell you, it was not easy, and I'm a very strong person, but I'm so thankful to be even able to come on live and talk to you guys about how that impacted my life, things that I did to get over it. If you watch the last live, you'll see that it took me a year to even accept the fact that he was gone. Just let that marinate, because a year is a long time. It's time to, be able to think about how much you miss and love a person. It's time to process the pain that you're feeling. This pain for me was probably deeper than anything I'd ever gone through, with the exception of the loss of my daughter almost 20 years ago. I had 20 years to process that. I've only had a year and a month, well, coming into 2 months, 14 months since my husband passed away. So, really, I want to kind of connect with those of you who are in the trucking community, and maybe you're experiencing some type of loss. I want you to know that you're going to get through this, and I want you to know that you're stronger than you think you are. Do not let the emotions of what you're going from progressing forward. I can say in this year, I went through that denial phase, guys, and it was so real that it was like a weight on my chest. And when you're denying the loss that you experience, whether it's the loss of a person or a loss of a thing, it could be a pet, a job, a career, whatever, relationships, whatever that thing is, sometimes it can be overwhelming to the point where you don't know what to do. And I saw myself starting to go down that rabbit hole, but there were a lot of things that I put in place in order to get myself out of it. Number one, I'm one of those people that have to verbalize what I'm feeling. So I'm either going to verbalize it on social media, I'm going to verbalize it in a phone call or a live video like this. I'm going to verbalize it on paper. You can journal. That was one of the things that I allowed myself to do, was to journal my feelings. I got a counselor in place. This person really helped me to do counseling from a perspective of how your family dynamic works. I thought that was the weirdest thing at the time, and I will tell you, it was amazing. what that taught me was a lot of the habits that we have currently are because of the way that our family did things. You know, the way that your mom thought, the way that your father thought. I did not have a father, at least not my blood father, raising me when I was growing up. I had a stepfather, and you know, when my mom and him separated, she dated. And so I didn't have a solid male figure in my life to show me, you know, how relationships were supposed to work. So I had to create on my own how those things were supposed to work. So looking at the family dynamic during the last year that I've gone through this counseling has been really interesting. It made sense to me in so many ways. At first I thought the counselor was like, "Oh, you're just nitpicking, so I'll keep coming back." But no, when you work through what has happened in your family, if there are divorces in your family, separation, all of those things have a lot to do with how you process your life as an adult. So the first recommendation I would give to somebody who is grieving in anything is to try to find help. You need a source outside of your family to be able to rely on to give you sound wisdom. Even though the people closest to you, they know how to comfort you. As I said in the last video, at some point, those people have to go back to their everyday lives. They've got to get back to work. They got to get back to their families, and you will be left sitting with yourself. And one of the things I've learned, because I also have a mentor, is how you do anything is how you do everything. That means how you process your pain, how you talk to yourself during the course of that pain and loss, how you how things manifest and show up in your life as a result of the words that you speak over yourself. Um, I never said to myself during the loss of my husband that I'll never find another person. I did say, however, that I am comfortable learning to live on my own. It has been rough. And when I tell you this, it's no stretch of the imagination. I mean, I have not been single in 18 plus years. And so the thought of starting over again is not something that I'm entertaining at this time. And that's just my choice because I've always been in relationships. And now I'm learning how to be this strong 56-year-old independent woman doing life the best way that I can. And the best way for me to do it is to be able to express what I'm feeling. And so that's what I'm doing now. And I'm thinking about all of you as I'm doing it. Some of you don't know how to get to that place where you are expressing the strongest version of yourself. So, my advice to you is to start working on you. The person or the thing or the situation that caused you the grief is never going to change. You're not going to be able to bring the person back. You're just simply going to have to learn how to deal with you and your feelings surrounding that loss. That was the toughest challenge for me, was dealing with my own feelings. I had to admit some things about myself. I had to take a look, I mean, a deep dive. And every time I thought I knew the answer to why I'm doing this or why I'm doing that, I went and asked myself why and went a little deeper. And then when I got the answer to that, I asked myself why again, you know, and you have to keep going deep because you are no good to others if you cannot work on yourself. And now we're in an age where everybody wants to be a helper, everybody wants to be a counselor, everybody wants to be a specialist, and I'm not trying to be any of those things. I told you in the last video that I also um, became a certified life coach. I work in the training department at Prime. I'm an America's Road Team captain. I wear a lot of hats. And so when you weren't seeing me, I was still working my job, working all of these positions, still being a grandmother, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a coworker. I was doing all of these things. Like we all jumble all of these things. But when you throw grief in the midst of all of that, guys, you have got to make sure that your mind is there and you're alert and you know that you got to take the next step. So after you've gone through the hurt phase, put some things in place. I say counseling is number one. Number two, journal it. You don't have to write it down unless you're a person who likes to write. You can hit record on the recorder on your phone or on the video on your phone and just start talking out your feelings. You got to get those things outside of you, because you can only rely on talking to people for so long. They're going to understand in the beginning when you first lost that thing or that person. They're going to understand and they're going to be there as a support system for you. They're going to do everything they can to say the words that you need to hear to give you strength, and that is beautiful. But there is going to come a time when these people have to move on with their lives, and you are going to have to find your inner strength to be able to keep moving forward. And that's what I really want to be able to impart to you today. I didn't have a whole lot that I wanted to say. I just want you to get back to a place where you're living again. Because here's what I've learned also is that my husband is not here, my daughter is not here. I'm watching my mom, you know, slip away, so to speak. And the truth of the matter is this: the fact that I am still alive means I have work to do. The fact that you're still alive, even though you lost somebody, you have work to do. You're being able to get through the things that life is throwing you is a direct relationship to your ability to help others in the future. Everything that you're going through, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with one day, if you're in the trucking community, you're going to have a story that's going to impact and help other people who are in the same position as you or that you once were in, and you're going to be the one who's going to be able to help them to get out of it. So, while you're going through this, and I know for some of you this is so fresh that you can't even think about helping anybody else, but I want you to change the way that you think about that thing. I want you to change the way that you talk about that thing. Start telling yourself a different story. That's the third thing. Start telling yourself that I am going to get through this. I'm going to overcome it, and I'm going to be stronger than I was before this situation happened. Everything works out for me. I'm in the right place at the right time to accomplish everything I need to build success in my future, whether that's success in my career, success in my relationships, success in my family dynamics, success in my financial position. Start talking the things that you want to see in your future, because nothing is going to happen by chance. You either are going to come out of this grief or you're going to stay stuck for a long time. And I promise you, staying stuck is only going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt anybody else, because you're the one who's going to feel this pain and you're the one who's going to have to carry the weight of that pain. And that is not to sound mean, but the truth of the matter is we all got to live with the decisions and the choices that we make. God put you here for a reason. It's up to you to find out what is that reason, where is God taking you in all of this. So with that said, guys, this was a quick video. Compared to the last one, which was an hour. If you mention it, if you missed it, please go back and look at that video. I think I have some nuggets in there for somebody who is seriously going through loss and cannot understand for the life of them how they're going to move on. There are some things that I had to do to get to where I am now, seated in a good place, knowing that God is going to work all things together for my good. You need to get to that place. Excuse me. I'm not trying to rush you one way or another, but the sooner that you pick yourself up, honey, the better off you're going to feel and the more productive you are going to become. You're here for a reason. You're here to make a difference. Every single person on this planet has a calling and a gift from God that you are supposed to impart into other people's lives, whether it's in your career, whether it's maybe it's the people that you work with at your job. I know I'm being used to really impact our students who are coming through our training program to help them to solidify their career in the trucking industry and to build something solid. And for those of you who are going through maybe a loss or layoff within your company, I want to talk to you real quick. We're in a tough time all over the country. And I want to say to all the drivers who may possibly be watching this right now, you have got to not be nitpicky about what's happening at your job right now. Last year, from 2020 up until last year, money was great in trucking. Right now, guys, we are in a recession, and that a recession is hitting companies. I watched a video from last month. No, this was the end of April, where these drivers were due money from their companies. They were out on the road, hadn't gotten paid. They came back into their terminal. No one was there. The truth of the matter is, it's tough out there right now. So I'm going to ask you that if you are working with a company, whether it's where I'm at or any other company, listen, you need to stick and stay where you are. Don't make any sudden changes and, leave because maybe you're not getting the type of runs that make the money that you were making last year. You have got to um, be comfortable and be good with where you are right now until things pick up, because I need you to stay committed where you are for a minute, because it's being felt all over the country. Even owner operators are feeling it a little bit, probably not as much as companies are. So I just want you to just be okay where you are and not make any sudden changes that will put you in a financial position that causes hardship. This is not the time to be making these sudden moves from company to company, because whereas you're feeling it in your company, I guarantee you at some point the next company is as well. But anyway, that being said, guys, I love you to pieces. I thank you for um, connecting with me on all of my social media out to talk to you guys about anything trucking, anything relating to grieving, anything relating to made as the year started coming in. And this is a result of what you're seeing now. My ability to connect with you guys and talk to you is happening because of that commitment. So you can speak into existence the things that you want, even with a recession going on, y'all. Anyway, you all have a blessed, wonderful day. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm going home for lunch. I'm going to take care of my little doggy and go back to work. But I want you to be successful, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. You deserve it. I love you guys, and thank you again for chiming in. Have a great and wonderful day. Bye.